I thank you for your invitation, Javier. I'm happy to be here. Excuse me for my poor English, but I will try to overview the regeneration, its limits and possibilities. The regeneration, by definition, is a renewal or restoration of a body, bodily part, or biological system after injury or as a normal process. And you know that the dream of mankind was immortality, rejuvenation, and regeneration. And we have seen this morning that Gilgamesh have lost the secret of the life without end. The phoenix is birth about his ashes and his divine clone. And Prometheus also had a few problems with the gods because he stole the fire and he was punished by an eagle which ate his liver. And the liver always regenerates. And one other hero is Heracles, and the ninth sword of Heracles was to cut the 9 heads of the Hydra because the Hydra have always a regeneration of its heads. And what is the regeneration in the evolution? The evolution starts after the Big Bang, and you know that the law of the hazard and necessity induced the genetic program and proto-organized about 3.8 billion years ago. And 2 billion years ago appears the primitive form of life with prokaryotes without nucleus or eukaryote with nucleus. And the evolution was studied at the end of the 19th century only by the genetic law of Mendel on the evolutionist of Lamarck, and we have seen that the evolution is a fruit of the environment and transgenerational transmission. And when big reality was precise by this author, that the man descends from the ape. And we can see that the ape start about Metazoan, and 6 to 7 million years ago, the hominidés arrive, and we are arriving by evolution at the level of pre-humanization. The species Homo is living about 2 million years ago, and the Homo sapiens start with civilization. It's something new in the evolution. And as you can see, we are starting from very simple form of organism to very complex biological evolution. And we are not the end of evolution. The natural power of regeneration, what is it? You know that metaphyte, that is the plants, can regenerate infinitely with each season. In animals, the Hydra was described by Tremblay. It's a small worm with tentacles, and when he cut it, he obtained 2 Hydras. And it's a bidirectional regeneration, that is, each piece created one other organ. It's fantastic. And one other organism is the same, is a planaria, is a small worm, more complex because he had a nervous system, a reproductive system, and a tractus digestive. And cut 279 times, he gave 279 new worms. It's the same for annelid and starfish. And in a little more complex organ, the regeneration can only be unidirectional. That is, the small part died, and the biggest part can regenerate the lost part. It's a paw and forceps for lobsters. It's a zebrafish we have seen this morning with the first communication. And it was the same for the Urodeles. They can regenerate many parts of their body. Salamander, axolotl, which is a larval stage of salamander, triton, lizard, and tadpole of toad. And Brooks from the University College of London said, salamander and tritons are the champion of regeneration. And for man, for Homo, for the Homo is unable to regenerate compared to the less complex species. The potential of regeneration is a lost paradise for man, but it remains the tracks of this primitive potential in his genome. And as Sanchez Alvarado said, regeneration is a biological basis of multicellular organisms. In human, the skin can be regenerated, vascular vessel, the liver, it was demonstrated by Weidman in 1975, and the phalanget in children. So we can see that we have lost the capacity of regeneration to the benefit of process of healing. Why? Why the regeneration was lost? To allow natural selection, and because regeneration is not necessary for survival, because a quick healing is more adapted than a long regeneration, and perhaps also because uncontrolled proliferation of pluripotent cells can induce tumor, and it's necessary for the nature to protect the survival of species. Can the scientific research rediscover regeneration? Gardiner from Irvine said, I'm convinced that we can in the future regenerate an upper limb or a finger. I hope see that in my life. Me too. The road will be long. It's necessary to exhume the ancient processes lost, find the triggering factors inducing the regeneration, and increase the regenerative capacities of human body by genetic and molecular biology studies. Necessity of study of the gene and study of the stem cells helps them to differentiate again and regenerate tissue or organs. For the gene, you know that there is about 1 century between the concept of gene in 1909 and the deciphering of the human genome in 2003. Thereafter, the science is going more quickly. And for Brooks and Keating, the genetic program of regeneration of an amphibian paw are partially conserved and, on mammals and probably in Homo sapiens also. It's necessary to find the triggering signal to reactivate the process. For that, we have spoken about this morning the two people who had the Nobel Prize of Medicine in 2012, Yamanaka and Gurdon. The two have understood how to, starting from differentiated cells, dedifferentiated it and reprogram it in other type of cells, of stem cells. It's interesting because it's opened the field of treatment for different diseases because we can realize the new generation of different type of tissue. It's the birth of the regenerative medicine. The regenerative medicine, one of the first tissue was the skin, realized by nowadays Bioprines, as you can see here, is a natural structure of the skin with the derm and epiderm, and it can be used to be transplanted in burn patient or allowed to test chemical or pharmaceutical products. For the heart, I'm interested, I'm a cardiac surgeon, and I have followed the progress of the cell therapy. We know that the turnover rate of cyclin cardiomyocyte is about 1%, and the prediction of renewed is about 45% after birth. And the goal was to regenerate a functionally viable myocardium. Many types of cells were used, as you can see, and we have now the meta-analysis. For skeletal myoblast, we have participated in Toulouse in the MAGIC trial. It was surgical implantation of cells from dedifferentiate from muscle. It was closed, prematurely stopped because arrhythmia, and we have now obtained improvement in left ventricular function. The bone marrow mononuclear cells was experimented in many trials in the literature, and as you can see, there is a very low improving in the left ejection function of the left ventricle, between 11% at 5 hours in TOPCAR to no result in a Swiss AMI or region trial. So the bone marrow derived mesenchymal stem cells in 4 studies show also relatively low improved in the left ventricular ejection function. The use of adipose-derived mesenchymal cells in different trials didn't mitigate scar size, didn't increase left ventricular ejection function, but relatively stabilize the scar size. And about 3,000 patients treated and analyzed by the meta-analysis on 50 publications, we can see that the increasing of the left ventricular ejection function is very relatively low, and the meta-analysis is difficult because of the heterogeneity of a number of cells injected, a type of preparation on top of delivery, but there is no carcinogenesis and no arrhythmia. The cardiac stem cells were studied in CPO study, and cancer trial is recruiting, but there is a very moderate effect on the left ventricular ejection function. Cardiosphere is a mixture of cardiac stem cells. They have a decrease of myocardial infarction size, about 12%, improve the regional function, but have a problem of safety because of their size, and they can induce a capillary plugging. And for embryogenic stem cells, we have one trial only, a SCORT study, but it's relatively dangerous because in the mice, we can see that there is induction of 21% of tumor because of the ability of these cells to degenerate. In conclusion, for the heart, we can see that to date, the regeneration by cell therapy is disappointing low. Many trials demonstrated it. The salubrious effect, which can be seen, is probably due to paracrine effect, and we have not yet the ideal donor cells, easy to obtain, robust to proliferate, with a low risk of tumor and immune rejection, and which can differentiate in functionally normal cardiomyocyte, and which can be delivered with a clinical routine. If we study the pediatric regenerative cardiology, it was seen that in neonate, there is a high number of resident cardiac progenitor cells. So in critically ill children with cardiomyopathy or ischemic heart disease or Takayasu, many trials were made, but with a short-term improvement and relative clinical stability. Tissue regeneration, vascular regeneration was attempted by direct cell injection, by cell-seeded scaffold to construct tissue engineering graft. But in all those cases, the vascular, the vascular regeneration in clinic remained very problematic, and the few tubes obtained are not so good that the autograft because of a problem of patency of this graft. For the liver, many ways of regeneration were made by a transdifferentiation of cells and cell therapy or tissue organ engineering, but not yet in human. We have seen also other field of regeneration. In the brain, few work are made to test the improvement in stroke, and in the first, we can see a significant improvement in scoring, but need further evaluation. The use of dopamine-secreting cells can be an hope for the treatment of Parkinson. It was made in rats, and the scientists can induce beta-amyloid protein from generation of induced polypotent stem cells from Alzheimer, and it can be useful to test the drug to treat this pathology. And the group of Toronto in the neurologic field work about the spinal cord injury, showing that if stem cells are injected less than 3 weeks after trauma, they can survive at the level of the trauma, but the results are to be discussed. Erectile dysfunction after prostatectomy was also studied. We have seen that the age-related macular degeneration is the object of one trial with the removal of vascular tissue and implantation of pluripotent stem cells. For the pancreatic cells is the same, with implantation of beta-like cells secreting insulin. It can be an hope for patients with type 1 diabetes. And as you can see, the bone can be repaired, the teeth, and we have seen this morning the speak about the cartilage regeneration. After the tissue, we can see, we can see the evolution on a more complex system. It's the dawn of the organoid era, that is tissue and small organ in vitro. Starting from different type of differentiated cells, it can be possible to induce pluripotent cells and by bioreactors induce organoids similar or like different tissue. Recently, we have seen that the Chicago group had implanted a bioprosthetic ovary with fertility in mice. The bladder in Toulouse in February was made, organoid of bladder with different type of cells. It can be useful to do organoid from cells from cancer patient with cancer and test the drug on their own cell before to start a good chemotherapy. It's the same for kidney by Professor Ispisua, and the brain also by the team of Vienna. As you can see, in different type of tissue, different team try to realize organoid. Lung, intestinal graft also, and the last option I have seen in the literature in the decellularized scaffold as a platform for bioengineered organ. It's a good idea, it seems. Starting from a cadaveric organ, it seems possible to decellularize the organ to obtain a scaffold, and with this matrix, it can be repopulated by the stem cells issued from the future receiver patient. It can be one solution because we are in penury of organ for transplantation. there is many problems of type of scaffold, type of stem cells, different technique of preservation of the tissue, the scaffold on the regenerated organ, and we are at the level of animal transplantation to test them. And you can see that they have made it in heart, lung, kidney, and liver, and in these different organs, they obtain rudimentary result about physiology, with a lack of conduction for the heart, with pulmonary edema of the lung, with a poor function of the kidney. But it's open a new field of possibility of creation of bioengineered organ starting from cadaveric scaffold. And I will conclude with the necessity to overcome the difficulties to allogenic organ transplant, to try it in small animal models, but we are not at the human trial actually. And to finish, the human dream of regeneration was treated this morning by my colleague, saying that aging is not a biological, is a biological process, but no a disease. And we have seen that perhaps in the future, it was developed this morning, we can reprogram cells and perhaps rejuvenate man. But we have seen that Mr. Ispesua Belmonte do it on mice, and it can be a good treatment for the future of these poor children. In conclusion, I think that since 2003, we have rapid progresses in tissue and organ regeneration. It's perhaps the dawn on a new era with a rediscovery of the triggering factor of regeneration and lost during the evolution. And it gives the birth at the new way, which is regenerative medicine. It's the greater dream of longevity. It will be perhaps possible, but I think that, to conclude, regeneration had probably scientifically no limit, but I think that the only limit is moral and ethic. And the problem is that the barrier is made by Homo sapiens himself, and I have no truth in Homo sapiens. And I think that science without conscience is only the ruin of the soul. It's Rabelais, my colleague French Rabelais. And to finish, I just want to evoke the clonage, and I recommend to you 2 books. Thank you very much.